Habaragani, my friends. Habaragani. I want to welcome you to this, for me, the most important week of the year, of my year, when the edges of the years meet. The 26th of December to the 1st of January. I'm wearing my Marcus Garvey t-shirt, huh? By my daughter gifted this to me. People without knowledge of its past is like a tree without roots. Very important that we use this time to cleanse and clear and set the course for where we go from here. Use the time to evaluate that which was and to make sure we're ready for that which is to come. So I want to use day one to talk about the message and meaning of Kwanzaa, giving thanks to my brethren, Maulana Karinga, for him to have inspired us with this whole creation. And I promise you, every day of this week, I will be doing a live to help to, this whole important thing about to teach those who did not learn, remind those who have forgotten, to help those who are a little weak, and to accompany those who are on the path but just need a little further guidance. Huh? I have been celebrating Kwanzaa since 1970. And for me, it's the most important aspect of our life. Most important. And I trust you will see what this is about if it is not already important for you in terms of how we make these things happen. Because this is how we do it and to make sure that the process continues. Now, when individuals go through issues like these, it transforms. Karenga says it's Martin Luther King who taught that real moral struggle seeks to win partners, not leave victims. Huh? Win partners. We want to bring more people into the fold. The arc of the moral universe bends towards truth, towards justice, and we just want to help it to bend. So there's 7 days of Kwanzaa, 7 days. I want to just take part of my life today to just again bring some more people into the fold, understand the beginning of the process, and then each day we will go through the celebrations as required. Today is Umoja, unity, but we get back to that. Now, Kwanzaa is an African American construct, but I want to explain something. In my 1978 dissertation, I had one footnote. And I defined, or should I say, redefined the construct of African American. For me, it means anyone who's of African based racial, historical, or cultural identity born in the Americas. What is the Americas? North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. We were all kidnapped. We all were transported on the same slave ships, just that we were dropped off at different ports. So I am not going to get into a debate who is Trinidadian and who is Jamaican and who is American and who is Canadian and who is from Belize. And no, 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 no. I have no time for that kind of discussion. My concern is that we are all one people. And this is part of the process of trying to get us back together. Now, Kwanzaa is a critical part of my life, and I have shared it with my friends and families, and this is just an ongoing part of the process. I will tell you more about it as we go through. My Kwanzaa greeting card today is very, very simple. Let me make it big so we can see exactly what it says here. Kwanzaa greeting to you. And to the ones who share this holiday, may this time when the edges of the years meet allow for reflection and gratitude for all that has been achieved in 2022. All this as we prepare in faith for the abundance that 2023 will bring us. That's my wish for you all. That's my wish. Okay? Now, let's work through this process. Let's work through it, because I think it's critical for us to understand where we're coming from, so we can understand where we're going.
Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, celebration. The first day of Kwanzaa, we call it Umoja, unity, unity. The second day of Kwanzaa, Kulia, self-determination. The third day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The fourth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujama, cooperative economics. The fifth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Leah, purpose, purpose. I have a purpose. The sixth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Boomba, creativity, creativity. The last day of Kwanzaa, we say Imani, that's what we call faith. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Celebration.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is how we start the process. Now, folks, now, why do I think this is so necessary for us to do? We have been doing this thing from about 1966, that's when this was first started by my brethren Maulana Karinga. And we're built on it. It is still growing steadily, steadily. In many places, persons are seeing here is a cultural celebration that we can affirm. We can use this time of the year as a people to do something for ourselves, to put things in perspective, to make sure that we get something more than just the persons who use this time period, between Christmas and New Year's, and it's one party after the other. Nothing wrong with that. But you spend the whole time drunk, huh? How about using this time for this positive reaffirmation that we can grow and we can become stronger as a people? Huh? Well, Kwanzaa affords that. Huh? It talks about the need and appreciation of a cultural vision and life affirming values. That's what this Nguza Saba, these 7 principles, do. The family, the community, the culture. That's what it is all about. It is growing. It's a way for us Africans in the diaspora to speak about our truth in a multicultural world. So many things around us that do not represent us. It reaffirms a rich and ancient tradition. The first religious, ethical, scientific text, the introduction of the basic discipline known from the Nile Valley. We gave the world all of these incredible things. The concept grows because it reinforces our rootedness in our culture in a rich and meaningful way. So that around the world, more and more people are now coming to understand there is another way. There are other things we can do. It pulls us together from all countries and religious tradition and class and age and political persuasion because there are no boundaries. It grows on the common ground of our Africanness with all the diversity that we bring. The word Kwanzaa is a Kiswahili phrase, huh? And it talks about the first fruits, the gathering. Huh? We celebrate Kwanzaa over 7 days, December 26th through January 1. It represents the end of the old and the beginning of the new. I love the concept where the edges of the years meet. A time to celebrate, a time to focus, a time to reassess, a time to plan. Now, Kwanzaa revolves around the practice of some fundamental activities we celebrate and reinforce. Again, family. We can't underemphasize the concept of family. Hmm? Andrew Shirley, welcome, my brother. Welcome, welcome. Family, community, and culture. That's what sets the agenda for us all. First, Kwanzaa is a time in gathering of the people. We pull our people together. A time to come together and reinforce the bonds between us. Despite the diversity, despite our differences, yes, we can come together. With the religious holidays and all the various things, no, no, no. Kwanzaa is a cultural holiday, not a religious one. So we welcome my brothers and sisters who are Christians, who are Muslims, who are Hindu, who are Jewish, Rastafarian. It doesn't matter what your religious persuasion is. We're talking about the common element of African. Kwanzaa is a time of special reverence for the Creator and creation. At times we give thanks for the good things in life, for life itself, for love, for friendship. That's what this is about. Kwanzaa is for parents and children and the elders and youth, for woman and man, again, family, community, and culture. It pulls us all together. It's a time of thanksgiving for the earth, what it has given to us, for human, for bird, for animal, plant, all living things, water, air, land, the natural resources that we so squander. Hmm? A time for moral recommitment to honor the Creator by honoring the creation, recommitting ourselves to respecting and preserving the creation. Kwanzaa, a time to commemorate the past on which we build, a time for honor the moral obligation to remember and to praise those on whose shoulders we stand. That's why I'm saying I'm wearing my Marcus Garvey shirt this morning, just to remind myself and to remind us. I'm telling you now, February 2023 represents 100 years since the publication of Marcus Garvey's Philosophy and Opinion. Myself and one of my daughters, Isis, if it's just we alone, we are keeping a celebration to represent that 100 years. It's a time to raise and praise the names of those who went ahead, that we might live a fuller and more meaningful life. So yes, we give thanks for Marley, we give thanks for Marcus, and all those who cleared the path for us ahead. It's a time to appreciate our role as heirs and custodians of a legacy, to recommit ourselves to honoring it. We have a responsibility for those down the river from us. What are we doing to clean up the culture? What are we doing as fathers and mothers of humanity and human civilization, as sons and daughters of the Holocaust of enslavement, as authors and hearers of the reaffirmation of our Africanness that came alive in the 60s and 70s, and to a large extent, what we see what's happening now, many of us are embarrassed, thoroughly embarrassed. Now, each period leaves a legacy and a challenge that must be done. We honor each by learning and living it. And there's a time to recommit to the highest ideals. When, listen, folks, with all due respect, when I see this construct swamp in Jamaica about duds being fully duds, No matter how you cut it, no matter how you parse it and you rationalize it, dunce is dunce. We are the people who gave the world metallurgy. Huh? We gave the world science. We gave the world some of the highest ideal in human dignity and scholarship. And now we're pride ourselves for being fully dunce. Me not in that with them. A time of focusing on thought and practice on our highest cultural vision and values, which in essence, ethical values. It's a time we cherish love, sisterhood, brotherhood, respect for the transcendent, the human person. The Nguza Saba, the seven principles, serves as a central focus for us at this time. We are defined by our values and the practice to which they lead. The Nguza Saba, the seven principles. And we're going to reaffirm them. And each day we'll focus on the principle of the day. But the important fact for me is to use this first day to cover as many as possible. Mama Neith, she says, thank you, helping to spread the word. We desperately need a revitalization. Doing my part, my sister, doing my part. So the seven principles, Umoja, Kuchichagulia, Ujamaa, Ujima, Kuumba, Nia, and Imani. We will get back to this as we go through the week. We should remember and act on the ancient African teaching of Mahat. What does this say? Speak truth, do justice, and walk in the way of righteousness. That's what we are empowered to do. There's a house saying that in speaking truth and doing justice, we must always show preference for the most vulnerable among us. When I see any culture, that does not bend over backwards to do the most for those who can do the least for themselves, will be in some serious trouble. Welcome, Peter. Welcome. The things we must do. In all the nonsense going on, did we give food to the hungry? Did we give water to the thirsty? Did we clothe the naked? Did we give a boat to those without one? You see, after you finish all of those things, then we can talk about religion. Were we father to the orphan? Were we husband to the widow? Did we comfort the sick? Did we provide a staff of support for the aged? After we finish doing that, we can talk about religion. Did we shelter the needy? Did we float those who were drowning? Did we provide a ladder for those who were trapped in a pit? When we finish doing all of that, we can then start talking about religion. Kwanzaa is a time to celebrate the good of life, of family, community, culture, and friendship. We celebrate the good. The bountiful of earth. Folks, the earth has enough for us all. Nobody has to go hungry. There's enough for us all. How much food can one person eat? We celebrate the wonders of the universe. The elder, the young, the human person. Listen, our history, our struggle for liberation, and for ever higher qualities of human life. That's what we're trying to reaffirm in this week. Celebrate. It's a ceremony, it's a commemoration, a respectful marking, an honoring, a praising, a rejoicing. Now, there are some critical principles around which we build. Karamu, let's start with that. A Karamu is a ritual Kwanzaa feast, usually held on the last day of the year. But what is happening now? Different people decide that different days that they want to hold their feast, which is fine. Celebrating Umoja or unity is the highlight of the holiday. Families gather to share a meal, to pay homage to their ancestors, to exchange zawadi, gifts, and I'll tell you more about gifts as we go through this live. During the meal, a toast is made. Libations are poured to the ancestors who are always with us. The candle holder, the kinara, one candle is lit each day to represent that day for Kwanzaa. The remaining 6, each one on the following days. Fruits, vegetables of the harvest, the rewards for working together through the year, placed on the mekeka, a straw mat symbolizing the tradition of the past. We always have at least 2 ears of corn, you know, mihindi. You know, the symbolism of corn symbolize children, the kernels, because from one grain of corn, a nation can be fed. The stalk, the hope for the future. In Kwanzaa, gift isn't from Santa Claus or some nonsense like that. Gifts are primarily for children. Gifts should always include some heritage symbol to stress the ancient, and the continuing emphasis on education. So you give children books. You reward children for that which they promised and they achieved. The bandera, the symbols, the colors of Kwanzaa, created by Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the founder of the UNIA. The colors, the red, the black, and the green. The 3 stripes. The red represent the blood spilled in the name of those of us who went before. The black represents unity, and the green representing our freedom, which we are still working towards. So the Kwanzaa celebration is a ceremony, commemoration, respectful marking, a honoring, a praising, a rejoicing. In Buza Saba, the 7 principles serve as the central focus of our thought and practice. We are defined by our values and the practice to which they lead. I use these right through the year. We should remember the act of the ancient African teachings of Ma'at. Speak truth, do justice, and walk in the ways of righteousness. What else? We acknowledge the past. Kwanzaa is a time you remember the past. You honor the moral obligation to remember and praise those on whose shoulders we stand. We give thanks for what they did. Each period leaves a legacy of challenge and struggle. We honor each by learning and living it. In the past 20 years, this COVID has transformed what we have been doing year after year. And we need to make serious adjustments to the way we do business. So I have actually figured out a way to use Kwanzaa as business principles. The only rational choice we have is to understand the nature of change so we can benefit from it. Kwanzaa allows us to bridge the gap between the past and the future. The coronavirus has speeded up the change. I use the Mbuza Saba to help me with the changes that needs to be done. So now we have done on day 1, the 7 days when the edges of the years meet. And this is what we celebrate. And each day we use it to get us closer. Today is day 1. Today is day 1. Umoja, unity. So we start the day. The first thing I did this morning, I sent a greeting to my family members, and it's a very basic. Habaragani. What's the news? Habaragani. That's the Kwanzaa greeting. And the answer is the principle for the day, Umoja. And we reflect on it. This is a little snippet from a Kwanzaa celebration in years gone by at my house in Jamaica.
Because I am, we are. We are because I am. That's how we do it. So it's really good to share a meal and conversation and see what we make it a great year next year. Welcome to South Africa. So
So Umoja, the spirit of togetherness. It's always a blessing to celebrate a special day surrounded by people you love. Thank you for coming and squeezing in a little time to spend with us. That's what we do. We need to do that. What is Umoja about? December 26th, Umoja, unity. It stresses the importance of togetherness of family, community. I am because we are. We are, therefore I am. Umoja, strive for and maintain the unity in the family, the community, the nation, and the race. That's our focus today, brothers and sisters. Day one, the black candle is lit. This is a day of togetherness, sharing, the family, the gathering. African proverb says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Unity provides that. So that is the spirit of today, unity. I use Kwanzaa a way to look at work. Unity Umoja speaks to the importance of teamwork. Teamwork to foresee each other's needs, make useful suggestions to each other, to enhance each other's strength, to compensate for each other's weakness. So, welcome to Kwanzaa. Each day will take you through with the spirit of the day.
Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, celebration. The first day of Kwanzaa, we call it Umoja, unity, unity. The second day of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, self-determination. The third day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The fourth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Ujama, cooperative economics. The fifth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Leah, purpose, purpose. I have a purpose. The sixth day of Kwanzaa, we call it Boomba, creativity, creativity. The last day of Kwanzaa, we say Imani, that's what we call faith. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebration. Celebration.
Yes, yes, brothers and sisters. Tomorrow we move on to day two, Kuchichagulia. Just to answer a question here from Peter. Yeah, seven is a very spiritual number. Seven represents the seventh day. Seven principles, the Nguza Saba, is considered the seven minimal principles. That if we should live up to these seven principles, we could live a very good life. Individually, collectively, we can live a very good life. A little historical issue here. You know, when they when the concept started, us, that's the name of the group that started, Marilana Karenga, they had, there were 7 children in the organization. And when they first coined the concept of Kwanzaa, it was spelled Kwanza, that's one A. But because there were 7 children, they added another A. So you had 7, so each child could say what K is and what W is and so on. Okay? So that's one interesting. When you create something for yourself, you make it mean things for yourself. So that we walk through 7 days. The last 7 days, again, the 7 days between beautifully day after Christmas and New Year's. It's for, look, many people are on holiday during this time. It's a form of cultural judo. We use the time. We're off from work, we're off from school. And as opposed to mindless celebration, we use it for commemoration and to really lift our spirit. Each day, I focus on one thing. Today, it's unity. What can we do to enhance unity, first of all, within self? Unity in your family. There are family members you need to call. There are family members you haven't spoken to for a while. There are friends and associates you need to mend fences with. Unity. Unity. So we start with that. And please feel free to share this, because listen, we do this, we need help. We need to make ourselves the best version of ourselves. So tomorrow we continue this. And I'll make this available on all my platforms so that, again, those who have forgotten can be reminded, those that didn't know can learn that there is a better way. There's something we can do. Abaragani, brothers and sisters, the answer is Umoja today, unity. See you tomorrow.